Imagine being lost in absolute darkness, not just for a night, but for 300 long days. Would the shadows consume you in fear? Or would you discover something extraordinary, hidden deep within yourself? Welcome to Whispers of Yesterday, where we uncover the captivating world of legends. If you're fascinated by stories of transformation and the unexpected, hit that subscribe button and join us as we explore the secrets that lie beneath the surface. In a quaint village nestled amongst gently rolling hills, there lived a young girl named Anya. Unlike the other children, Anya's heart craved adventure. While they were content with their routines and familiar paths, she craved the thrill of the unknown. Her bright eyes held a relentless spark of curiosity, and whispers of her adventurous spirit drifted on the breeze. The meadows and forests that surrounded the village were her playground, each tree and winding path promising a new discovery. And so, one sun-dappled morning, Anya's boundless spirit would lead her on an adventure that would forever alter the course of her life. Driven by her inquisitive nature, Anya ventured deeper into the woods than she ever had before. Her feet seemed to have a mind of their own, leading her away from the familiar paths. And then, half concealed by a veil of ivy, she saw it, a crack in the earth, a shadowy opening that seemed to beckon her closer. Anya's heart pounded with excitement. Could this be the gateway to some long-forgotten secret? Unable to resist, she squeezed through the opening, her small frame disappearing into the cool darkness. Within the cave, the ground sloped downwards, and her footsteps echoed through the still air. Suddenly, the ground gave way beneath her, and she plunged into an unseen chasm, tumbling into the inky depths below. A sharp pain shot through Anya's leg as she landed with a thud. Disoriented and terrified, she scrambled to her feet, her small hands grasping for anything that might provide support. "Help!" she cried out, her voice swallowed by the oppressive silence. Again and again she called for rescue, but only the echo of her own desperate pleas returned to her. Every rustle, every drip of water amplified her terror. As the last vestiges of light vanished, a suffocating darkness enveloped her. A darkness so complete, it felt like a physical weight pressing down upon her. The first few days blurred into an endless stretch of despair. Anya wept until her tears ran dry, her body racked with sobs. She huddled on the cold stone floor, hunger gnawing at her stomach and fear clawing at her mind. But within her frail body, a flicker of survival instinct remained. Driven by primal necessity, she began to move cautiously at first. Her trembling fingers mapped out the contours of her underground prison, a jagged wall here, a damp patch there. She discovered a trickle of water seeping from the rock, barely enough to quench her thirst. A scattering of insects became her mere sustenance. It wasn't a life, it was mere existence. Yet, with each passing day, Anya adapted. In the relentless darkness, Anya tried to mark the passage of time. Each morning, or what she assumed was morning, she'd scratch a line upon the cave wall. The scratches multiplied, a desperate tally of her imprisonment. Escape was all she could think about, yet escape seemed impossible. With each failed attempt to climb back up the chasm, a piece of her hope crumbled away. Slowly, a startling shift began. The scratches on the cave wall grew fainter, less deliberate. Time seemed to blur and stretch. No longer consumed by the world outside, her focus turned inward. The silence that had once been a tormentor became an unexpected companion. As hope for escape dwindled, Anya discovered a different kind of power blooming within her. Without the distraction of sight, her other senses sharpened to an astonishing degree. The faintest rustle of a tiny insect became as loud as a drumbeat. She could feel subtle shifts in the air currents swirling through the cave, whispers of unseen passages and hidden chambers. The damp earth beneath her fingertips told stories of water sources and the movement of creatures below the surface. Her once familiar senses were reborn, revealing a complex and vibrant world that existed completely beyond sight. In the solitude of the cave, the line between sleep and wakefulness blurred. Anya began to experience vivid dreams, or perhaps they were something more profound, something closer to visions. Images danced in her mind's eye, glowing orbs swirling in spirals, creatures whose forms defied description, landscapes bathed in impossible colors. At first, these visions startled her, but slowly a sense of wonder began to outweigh her fear. It was as if the very essence of the earth, its secrets and ancient wisdom, were seeping into her consciousness. With each dreamlike vision, Anya's understanding of her surroundings deepened. She was no longer a prisoner trapped in a cave, but an interconnected part of the living, breathing underworld. The rock walls were not barriers, but protective cocoons. The whispering air currents within the caverns were like the earth's gentle breath upon her skin. A sense of peace washed over her, a stark contrast to the desperate panic of those first terrifying days. This darkness, once her worst enemy, was becoming a strange and beautiful sanctuary. It was within those inky depths that she was forging a connection to something primordial, something far larger than herself. As weeks turned into months, a remarkable transformation took place within Anya. The scared, uncertain girl who had fallen into the chasm was fading away, replaced by someone stronger and far more perceptive. She had learned to navigate her world with a confidence no pair of eyes could ever grant. The relentless darkness had become a source of peace and clarity, a place where the worries of the sunlit world simply dissolved. The cave that once held her captive had become her chrysalis, a place of profound metamorphosis. One day, a realization struck her with undeniable force. She was ready to leave. It wasn't desperation that fueled her, but a deep inner knowing. The cave had given her all it could. It was time to return to the world above. Something shifted within Anya on the 300th day. It wasn't a dramatic change, but a quiet certainty deep in her core. This day, marked by no sunlight or birdsong, became a turning point. She wouldn't wait for a rescue that might never come. She, who had once been so dependent on sight, now possessed an intimate understanding of the cave's hidden tunnels and unseen pathways. With newfound determination, she began to retrace her steps, her hands tracing the familiar textures of the rock walls, her heightened senses guiding her like an invisible compass. After what felt like an eternity, a glimmer of gray began to penetrate the darkness. Anya moved towards it with steady hands and a determined heart. Her climb was arduous, her limbs aching from disuse, but she persevered. Then, with a burst of strength, she pulled herself out of the cave mouth and into a world ablaze with color and sound. The sunlight was blinding at first, making her squint and recoil. Yet gradually her eyes adjusted, taking in the vibrant green of the trees, the dazzling blue of the sky. Details she had almost forgotten existed. It was a dazzling, disorienting, and utterly beautiful homecoming. When Anya stumbled back into her village, it was as if a ghost had materialized from thin air. Her skin was pale as moonlight, her hair tangled and wild. Her eyes, accustomed to perpetual darkness, held a strange, luminous quality. The villagers reacted with a strange mix of wonder and fear. Some whispered about dark magic and other worldly creatures, their voices thick with suspicion. Others, those who had always sensed something different about Anya, saw the profound change within her. They marveled at her quiet strength and sought her newfound wisdom, drawn to the strange light in her eyes. Anya would never fully belong to the village again. She was a creature transformed. Anya's story serves as a potent reminder that sometimes the greatest discoveries lie within the darkest places. The cave that sought to break her became her crucible of transformation. So, I ask you, what might be waiting in the unexplored corners of your own life? What hidden strengths and unexpected wisdom might emerge if you dared to venture into your own metaphorical darkness? Thank you for joining me on this journey through folktale and wonder. Until next time, keep exploring and never stop believing in the extraordinary.